Ladies and gentlemen, again, this is the Starin Town Hall. My name's Chris Neto, and I was reminded that today is the last day of September. So please, we'll try to get through this one as quickly as possible. No disrespect to Mitch, who will be firing off the presentation, but we do know you do have to go back and close out that month and close out that quarter. So best of luck. If there's anything that Starin can do to help make that happen, you guys know how to get a hold of me. You know how to get a hold, obviously, of your account manager. And if that happens to be things that have to do with the LG product, we have Mitch Rosenberg, the Senior Account Manager of Distribution for LG, here with us today. How are you, sir?
I'm doing awesome. How about yourself?
Doing great. Where are you located, Mitch? Just so we...
North of Dallas, but if I tell people where it is, they have no clue. I live in Anna, Texas, but just north of Dallas.
That's a big state. I have no clue where that is, but I do know where Dallas is. Awesome. So we're going to get right into it, folks. Mitch has a very well stacked presentation on all things dvLED, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mitch. We do have Q&A, so please, in the Q&A section of the webinar, please go ahead and add your Q&A to there. If you have any chat, the chat room is open if you'd like to do any chatting back and forth, but try to put your Q&A questions into the Q&A. Everything that we get in there, we will try to answer live, as opposed to sending you guys emails and stuff. But at the end, there will be contact information for everybody in case there is something that is way too far in depth that we were not able to get to, or overwhelmed with certain, well, whatever. Anyway, Mitch, the floor is yours.
Opening up the little chat thing so that if somebody actually asks a question, I can answer it.
Oh, no, we don't. We wait for Q&A to answer questions. You just go ahead and do your presentation.
I'm closing the chat.
That's how we roll, man. That's how we roll around here. It's a town hall, so everybody gets to hear your presentation, and they're going to be talking about, they'll have questions that come up during the thing, and we'll just save them and go back and take care of that all. So,
I like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mitch Rosenberg.
Been in the industry forever. Many of you probably know me, and one of the things we're going to do is make sure this is not boring. Anybody who's actually seen the presentations that I give usually end up walking off the phone going, I think I learned something. So 5-minute background. Been working with Starin now for about 2 years. I've been enjoying their company a lot. Their follow-up is phenomenal, if not the best in the industry. And now that we're carrying dvLED in stock at Starin, we're having a good time. My background, you guys can read as easy as I have. I look good for a guy who's in his 60s, so I'm pretty proud of that. But I've been doing this since 1984, which is actually scary because I think about it, I'm a George Orwell child by attrition. I've been in the direct view LED business since 1996. It has been around that long. Basically, it was SIP product, but you'll all learn that as we go through it. I'm a member of everything that could possibly be membered, and the irony is LG is not attending InfoComm this year, so I won't get to see anybody. I'm just going to make the sound beep so we can go to the next one. Beep. There we go. What I'd like to point out, because we're only going to do a 20-minute presentation, and of course, Chris went nuts when I sent him 143 slides. So we're going to go through this really quick. Some of the features that I like to point out. As a manufacturer, being in the business since 1996, I see often a case where they won't use things like batch matched dvLED panels. In other words, your spares are batch matched whenever you buy something from LG. Your controller is a 4K controller. We do not have any 2K 12-bit, 16-bit controllers. We have a 20-bit 4K controller. Everything you guys order from us comes with 5% spare modules, comes with spare boards and parts. It even comes with the service tool. That's not just our ultimate business displays or bundles. That's our all-in-ones and our custom systems. So you're not having to order and figure out what SKU am I missing? What line item am I missing? Because when we send you a quote, it will be complete. We send our quotes obviously to Starin. Starin will then take the quote, modify it, add their percentage to it, so they got to make some money too, and then forward it to you guys. Every one of our systems, such as our controller, all our systems that use the CVCA controller, they are web OS capable, meaning that you actually have the ability to utilize our IP ports, utilize web OS, and do full control systems. In other words, you can put content on screen 1, screen 93, and the nice thing is you can integrate our direct view LED with all of our commercial flat panel lines and matrix systems. Our system was designed So we have a very simple on-screen UI. When I say simple, the reason our dealers really like our product is because we utilize our end user consumer grade UIs. That means when you turn on our system, you're very familiar with it. So as a dealer, you're not spending 2 days training the end user how to utilize a system. If they know how to use a television set, they'll know how to utilize our system. Obviously, it's a remote control. Ambient brightness sensors are in every kit. This is very handy. It's another SKU you don't have to think about. It comes with every system. The ambient brightness sensor allows, such as if we have a 1000 nit product, for those of you who are familiar with nit, at night, that is way too bright. It's actually overkill. So at night, the ambient brightness sensor will take it down to whatever level you pre-program in the system, 200 nit, 300 nit. And obviously during the day, if it's facing east or west, you're going to want to jack it to its full maximum brightness. Every system comes with screen sharing in it. So if you're using an Android or an Apple device, and you want to be able to screen share, as in I've done this myself on my phones, I'll pull up slides and pictures, and I will swipe them up and put them on an LED wall or anything else that I'm using. Screen sharing, multi-view, and the onboard CMS for the dealers that are on this phone call, even the end users, you may get a kick out of this. That eliminates 3 third-party products that you don't need to use. Usually, and I've been doing this a long time, when you buy a dvLED wall, you get your controller. But you want to do screen sharing, you need a third-party company, a Kramer, Christie Spider, something else. You want to do multi-view, you want to do multiple windows, you got to buy another third-party product. You want to do CMS, such as digital signage, this thing has an onboard CMS. That's 3 units that you don't have to put in a rack that all come built into our controller. Beep. You're very good at that. Every one of our systems comes with in-field training free. What that means is an LG trained service tech will come out to every single install at every single location in the lower 48. So if you buy a system or you're a dealer and you sell a system, you're going to send your techs out. One of our techs will go with you, and they will not do the install. They will assist on the install and train your guys on the spot. Every one of our systems comes with 3-year total care coverage. What does that mean? 3 years is basically your warranty. But in addition to your warranty, the first 3 years, every 6 months, one of our guys will call you and schedule a time to come out and calibrate or recalibrate a system. Nobody provides that free of charge. 3 years connected care coverage. Depending on the installation, this is where it gets kind of tricky. We can do a remote connected care coverage. Remote meaning if the end user allows us, we'll log into the system, monitor the system, double check it, make sure everything's cool. If we see a problem, overheating, temperature adjustment, power supply issue, something going on with pixels in a certain area or a module, we can notify the dealer ahead of time, and we can tell you, hey, you got to go out and do an advanced replacement. 3 years of software licensing, that's for the web OS built in, and every one of our systems comes with a 5-year factory warranty. Guys, remember some of these things, because if you want to win one of the gift cards at the end, we're going to ask you some of these questions. Of course, those of you that fell asleep already, you won't be able to do the questions. Beep. Want to see a neat trick? Every one of our systems comes in an ATA flight case. All of our ultimate bundles and our all-in-one systems. These are huge flight cases. So a 136 comes in a single case. I have sold 217s and 325s, which is the diagonal dimension, 325 inch, 217 inch. The 325 inch comes in 14 ATA cases. You, the dealer, get to keep the cases. To give you an idea how big the cases are, I took one of these cases from a dealer who didn't want it, and I made it into a playhouse for my granddaughter. It's that big, and it's really cool because I cut windows and doors in it and made it really attractive. Just spray painted the dilly out of it. Beep. By the way, what an ATA case provides, guys, it's not coming on a pallet. It's not shrink wrapped. It's not banded. You're not getting 5 different pieces and you're trying to figure out on the job site what goes with what box. Inside our ATA shipping cases, including for custom systems, it's labeled on the outside what's in there. It's protected from our union truckers. Everything arrives intact. That's a neat trick. What really makes a difference between dvLED manufacturer products? Guys, if any of you have seen my presentations at Avexia, one of the things I like to point out is LEDs have gotten so good across the board, not the very low end, not Jimmy Joe's honkering from somebody in Taiwan that was shipped in that sells for $1 a square foot. But the majority of us at tier 1 and tier 2, the direct view LED products are very similar. At shootouts, it's very difficult to tell the difference. What makes the difference is the customer service, the distributor, the tech, and the controller. I personally can set up a really crappy wall from a really crappy manufacturer, use a killer controller with a killer tech, and beat a top tier 1 wall that has a cruddy controller. Do we need TAA? Guys, some of you will need it because you have government involved. So a lot of our products are TAA. What presale is involved with dvLED? Guys, we provide everything. So as a dealer and an integrator, anything you could need from pre-design, we get on the phone with you. We work with you on the initial design, the application. We find out what the real product is that you're going to need. Then your team will work with our team. We'll submit CAD designs together, HVAC systems together, electrical, data runs. Everything will run together. We'll put the packages together. So when we get to the end user, to the final step, when you order the product that you need and it's on site, we don't get any of those what we refer to as aha moments, where we start throwing things at the wall, like Chris got to witness me do with an earlier today with a PC. Beep. I'm not going to go through each and every product that we have in our ultimate displays because you'll kill me. We actually have 90 different prefab systems. As you can see, page 1, just in the HD version, is 81-inch, beep, all the way up to a 393-inch. We have 90 different packages. I don't want you remembering the product. I don't want you remembering the products. Don't bother. Just know we have indoor, we have outdoor, we have 0.7 to 16 millimeter. That's the pitch. We have large tiles, 1,000 millimeter by 1,000 millimeter, all the way down to 480 millimeter by 500 millimeter. If you can think it, we've got it. That's the easiest way. We have flexible for concave, convex, and we're the only company in the business that has a 73% transparent LED at 14 millimeter. Many of you have probably seen it. You don't realize it's us. It's actually a transparent piece that applies to glass like Scotch tape. You turn it on and there's your LED window. I'm under NDA. We're in several major chains of, let's just call them gas stations. Beep. Ultra HD is the 4Ks, as you can see, the 3840 by 2160. And of course, they come in different versions. This one has 0.9 up to 1.8. Don't worry about those things. That's what we work on through our design and application process. That's what you talk to me about. I sit at my desk all day answering phone and doing webinars, which is why I'm only 3 feet tall now. Beep. Dual HD is literally, if you take the picture at the upper right-hand corner, it's when we take a single unit, like a 181, 108, 163, and we put them together. We've had limited applications where people have needed dual systems, but just know we have those packages available as well. Beep. I'm cruising, Chris. I'm doing my best. We have an 8K unit. We actually have this unit installed in 2 theaters in Los Angeles, and it's in again, NDAs are killing me, man. I want to brag about it, but I'm not allowed to brag. So we're in theaters, and the 8K unit is available if you've got a customer who actually needs 8K. Beep. The transitions. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to apologize. I told the people earlier, my good computer wouldn't accept Zoom. So I'm sitting here on actually, this is a 486 for anybody who's actually that old. So as Chris advances the slides, it takes my computer a day and a half to process the actual slide. So first one we're going to go through is what's called the all-in-one 136. And now don't remember the codes. It's called the LAEB 015 AIO 136. It's a license plate from hell. Don't worry about it. Just know Nobody's got anything like this. This unit is selling at $39,000. I want you to think about this. This is a 12-foot diagonal, 1.5 pitch, 800 nit unit, selling for $39K. Now, to give you an idea how easy this is, people thought I was kidding. The unit itself is completely pre-configured in an ATA case. You have two pieces to play with. It comes with the mounting hardware. I have yet to run into a dealer who cannot install this in an hour. My wife is 95 pounds. We got our demo unit. I took it out of the ATA case. My wife and I to put this demo unit together on a wall, installed, calibrated in 90 minutes. She is not from our industry, and I'm not exaggerating. I've been doing this a long time. A standard 12-foot wall at a 1.5 millimeter pitch with framing should take 2 techs 2 full days, 2 8-hour days. Our system was designed to be in and out in a day. That's slick. It also comes with the tools. So your techs go out, open the ATA case, take the 2 boards out, mount it to the wall, mount this unit to the mount, and that's it. Beep. These are the 2 units that actually come out of the ATA case, kids. The left and right sides. We're going to go to beep because I'm going to show you the mount. This is the mount. You got 4 vertical boards, 2 horizontals, and a center plate. Those mount to the wall. Those other 2 plates that you just saw mount to this, and you leave the room. You can turn it on. It is completely calibrated from the factory, but if you want to tweak it, knock yourself out. All of the controllers are built into the back of our all-in-one units, by the way. It's not a separate box. So you've got 3 HDMIs, 2 USBs, and a mini jack. And again, $39K, guys. And trust me, Starin can do better than that, but I have to quote $39K. Beep. By the way, for those of you who know me, this is not on coffee. I wasn't allowed to have any today. This is how it actually ships, guys. This is the case you will receive with 2 halves. You open it up, you take the 2 halves out, put it on the wall. Think about when you used to do a 3x3 matrix, a flat panel 55-inch or 65-inch. This is easier than that. That's pretty slick. And tools, spares, everything's in the box, cables, etc. Next piece. Oh, I'm sorry, beep. We're going to cruise through this real quick because this really isn't what part of our presentation was supposed to be about. But a lot of people don't understand. There are a lot of different LEDs out there. So people call me all the time and they say, I want an LED. I don't know what that means. So I'm going to cruise through this. I'm just going to tell Chris to keep advancing. But this is an example. It's called dip, where dots in place. This is what your outdoor systems are. They're super bright, but a very wide pitch. You're talking anywhere from 10 millimeter to 33 millimeter. If you've ever been to a stadium and you've looked at center boards, not the ones that you sit next to or that running around the ring, but center boards are dip because they last forever. Beep. The next one is your surface mounted diode or SMDs. This is the majority of your LEDs that are out there now. The majority of your LEDs out there right now for indoor 1.2, usually to about 3.9. Some have 6 millimeter as well. The advantage to an SMD is it's a single diode. So the red, green, and blue are inside a single diode, making it a lot tougher, stronger box. It gives a smoother surface, and we can get much tighter pixels. Pixels usually down to about 1.2. Beep. Sorry, beep. The next one up is IMD. The industry is moving to IMD because it's a 4-in-1 SMD. If my mouse could move, I'd show you that each of these chips, a block of what looks like 2x2, that's actually one chip. So it's got 4 sets of red, green, and blue diodes in a single chip. Integrated matrix, it's not device, it's diode. Anyway, I spelled that wrong. The reason it's getting more and more popular, you can go with finer and finer pitches, and I got to tell you, it's almost bulletproof. You don't have to worry about people rubbing up against it, rings, jewelry, throwing coke on it. It's a really strong product. It's second only to the next one, which is chip on board. Chris? This is coming fast. Chip on board right now. I've seen product as low as 0.3 millimeter. It'll be a couple of years before we actually have it in the industry, but chip on board allows us some really cool things. We can go with fine pitches. Think about this. You're looking at your computer screens And a lot of the screens you use are actually 0.5. We can now get LED down to this. When you see cars, actually LG Chemical manufactures over 60% of the dashboards of electronic cars. In other words, your integrated matrix or LED dashboard. It's chip on board. These are almost indestructible. For anybody who visited me in the booth 2 years ago, I was the guy with the ball peen hammer, and I was actually pounding on a chip on board while it was running to prove how durable it is. This is coming. We have it right now. We carry it right now in 0.7, 0.9, and 1.2. It's a little more expensive, but ladies and gentlemen, it's almost impossible to break. You can't have diodes bad out of the box. And when your dealer you guys put it together and assemble it in the field, the chances of you chipping a diode are negligible at best. I'm the king of chipping diodes. When I worked at a competing company, they wouldn't let me set up demo systems because I would shatter thousands of them. And I think we're done, Chris.
Impossible.
Oh, I put viewing distance in here. That's right. I added this in here. For those of you who don't know how this works, it's a real simple application. The math is much more difficult than I made it here. So I made a real simple diagram. If you've got a 1 millimeter pitch at approximately 5 feet, the actual image itself, the dots that you would normally see disappear. So multiply by 2. 2.0 would be 10 feet, 3.0, 15 feet, 4.0 would be 20 feet. So that's the easy one. The real math is much more difficult than this, but I don't put it in there. So when you guys call me and say, hey, I need a 3 millimeter, but the person is 160 feet away, I'll take your money, but I don't need to take your money. We could put a 6 millimeter in there. And the same thing happens in reverse. Don't tell me you need a 4 millimeter in a boardroom because nobody's going to be able to read it. You need a 1 millimeter in a boardroom.
And I think
rock and roll.
Move to the next one. There you go. Can you say thank you? Thank you. Thank you, Mitch. Now we're going to go to Q&A. If there's anything that you guys want answered, drop it into the Q&A. I do have a few questions already starting to pile up. Mitch, those screens that you showed, the ones that come in the flight cases, you do have a product that does come with not only the screen, but kind of comes with the stand as well for it to be not wall mounted, but stand mounted, correct?
We have optional stands for the 130 and the 136, and it does have pneumatic wheels, so you're not rolling a 12-foot thing. I will give you guys an example. I'm glad Chris brought that up. We had an end user who purchased a 136, put it on a roller cart. We assembled it in the room, and he didn't calculate the fact he couldn't get it out the door. It's 12 feet long, guys. You can't roll it into an elevator and take it to the next floor. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, people forget that. Awesome. So let's go right to the first question from Sean. Sean asks, Mitch, what market have you seen the dvLED displays being installed / used? Corporate, education, sporting venues, etc. What are the verticals that the dvLED shines?
In reality, when I first started in this industry, the first place that we were doing our business was in what we refer to as the outdoor venue, large venue, arenas, sporting coliseums, etc. The pricing has dropped ridiculously. When I used to sell 4 millimeter only 5 years ago, 4 millimeter used to run anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000 a square foot. The stuff's $1,000 a square foot, which is absolutely amazing today. So just like our flat panels did, pricing is coming down. So almost all markets are utilizing it. House of Worship was literally the second market that I saw rocket because they were replacing all of their projectors. Most of the larger churches, medium and larger churches and up, would have anywhere from 1 to 3 screens in their sanctuary. Well, that was projectors. Projectors make noise, projectors take up space, projectors need lamps, projectors can't be used in high ambient light, and projectors really rot when you do broadcast. So that was the second largest market that I ran into in the last few years. Now it's the corporate market. I am very surprised that our ultimate business display bundles, ranging from 81 to the larger sizes, have been specified where you saw your 3x3s, your 4x4s, etc., of your matrix systems. They're pulling them out and they're replacing with LED because cost-wise, please feel free to do an evaluation. 1.8 millimeter, square foot for square foot, is about the same price as your super thin mullion high-end matrix flat panel systems, square foot for square foot. Now, I'm not saying 1.5 or 1.2. I'm talking about 1.8. Give it about 6 months, and I bet you 1.5 will do it, because pricing is not, well, it's maintaining stability, because Chris and I were discussing this earlier, due to logistics, but it's not an issue of manufacturing.
Yep. Next question comes in from Richard. He asks, how do we get a list of models that are specifically TAA compliant?
If you go to our website in nice, big, bold, black letters, it says which products are TAA compliant, which ones aren't. And if you want me to actually send you a list, I can do that as well.
Awesome. Next question. My average customer is in the collaboration space, small, medium, large conference rooms, corporate auditoriums, gathering spaces, and lobbies. What dvLED opportunities am I missing?
Anywhere that there's an actual visual display that is not used for something as simple as wayfinding, you're missing. I'll give you another example. I got to go to see the Cowboys Monday night. LG invited me to go, basically to be a tech, not to actually speak. As we walked around the arena with the people who actually, it's a company called Legend that actually handles the Cowboys. We were asked to replace the concession stands, the wayfinding, the parking lot, the Ring of Honor. We were asked for the pieces that actually hang down where you walk through the tunnels, the locker rooms. That's one space with that many applications. So we've pretty much done everything from command and control all the way down to corporate boardrooms. Like I said, house of worship, where there's a display, direct view LED will be there. I will make you a prediction. Within 5 years, you will not see flat panels. They will be gone. You'll see very low-end garbage, but flat panels, because the price of direct view LED, the pitch of direct view LED, and the manufacturing processes are just like they were when flat panels came out in 1991. They're plummeting in price, increasing in quality, and becoming bulletproof. And it's happening all the time.
That's a bold statement. That is
yeah,
bold.
I do that. I like to do that to Gary Kay all the time, because, you know, he does those predictions. I usually bet him $1 here.
Well, his crystal ball, I mean, it's famous. So let's go. Let's go to the next question from Philip. Tell me more about the transparent dvLED solution. I need to do video conferencing in a fishbowl in glass. Basically, they're in a glass conference room. Will that the dvLED transparent solution work?
Well, the issue with a conference room is a conference room is going to have people walking 2, 3, 4 feet. Oh, she did stop talking. Hey, the good news is the background noise is gone. The LAT14 is a 14 millimeter product. It's designed more for your application as signage. If you're in Manhattan anywhere and you're walking down and seeing the New York sports clubs, several of the New York sports clubs on floors like 2 through 10 have this applied to the outdoor window facing out, because 14 millimeter, you got to be about 70 feet back. I know that sounds crazy, but it's 14 millimeters. However, with that said, it is a great advertising medium. It's not a good medium at 14 millimeters to try and use for education, running video, PowerPoints, Excel spreadsheets, etc. If you put it on the glass and you have it facing out into the hallway, absolutely, it's a very cool product. Again, LAT14, please go to our website and check it out. And if you need additional information or videos or anything on it, contact Chris and I'll send him links to everything. It is a very cool product, because to apply it, we can apply it to concave, convex surfaces. And it really does. It applies like Scotch tape. It's a very cool toy.
All right. Well, according to Philip, that may not work for his application, but thank you. Thanks, Philip, for the question. Next question. Let's go right to the elephant in the room. How is the stock status of LG? They're specifically asking for the LG 136 dvLED.
The good news is we were smart enough to order quite a few units, and we have in the warehouse in LG in our California warehouse. The bad news is on a lot of the ultimate business displays, I will tell you, we did order a lot of what we refer to as safety stock. So I've got a ton of 1.2, 1.5, 1.8, and 2.5. in the warehouse in California, and we have more coming in through October 21st. I don't know why that became the cutoff, but I'm not in charge. I'm not paid that well. So we do have 136 in stock, but in reference to Chris's direct question, I'm got to tell you, I was on the call this morning where we were dealing with logistics, and Pantos is our trucking company. They're not singled out by any stretch. It is a global issue right now. The ports in Los Angeles, San Diego, and Houston are backed up between 10 and 12 weeks, meaning if you work on a ship and you're used to coming into port, you unload your ship, guess what? You're sitting on that ship for 10 to 12 weeks before anybody can even offload you. That's an issue, because when we quote you 10 to 12 weeks, that's 10 to 12 weeks sitting in port. If we've got it in stock, of course, we're going to be able to turn it and get it right to you. That's not an issue.
Okay. All right. Next, I hope that answered the question. In follow-up to Philip's other question about the transparent, what was the part number for the transparent again?
LAT as in Larry, Alvin, Tango, 14.
Awesome. I hope that that helped there, Phil. Another question comes in from Sean. How thin are the dvLED display, or does each display have a different thickness per its size?
Depends on the product. The displays themselves are going to have, they'll be fixed in their height and width, or what we refer to as their X and Y axis. In the Z axis, as an example, we have one product called the LAS. We have a product called the LAP. We have a product called LSAA. Try that one out for size. We have LSAB. We have LAEB. I'm not even going to go on. We have a ridiculous number of products in our line. And agreed, many of them have different thicknesses or Z-axis to them. We have extremely thin. We have some that are close to 80 and barely ADA compliant. But I will tell you, everything we've got, except for our outdoor product, is ADA compliant. So it's under 4 inches.
Cool. Excellent. We've blasted through all the questions. Please keep them coming. We actually, Mark, if you don't mind, producer Mark, if you can bring up the slideshow one more time. Next question I have, or actually not really the question, but kind of talking about a, there we go. LG is part of some strategic alliances, and this is something that not only does Starin carry and offer, we offer all these brands, but part of this is that LG is an integral part, at least the display part of these other brands, products, Jabra, Barco, Poly, Aver, all work in unison inside those conference rooms. These are systems that we are able to help you with and assist, but in knowing that these are actually agreed upon, these are just not a group of people getting together and saying, let's put all these products together. The actual manufacturers have gotten together and created these strategic alliances in order to better serve you within the conference rooms and the spaces. Is that not correct there, Mitch?
It is absolutely correct. You did a great job.
I try to,
I love the add your audio and add your video. This is the video. You're talking about, you're adding your broadcast, your content. I would have put add your content. That's okay.
Yeah. You know what? We just try to simplify it.
I got it. By the way, for everybody who's been in this business, for the dealers, the end users, even our consultants that may be on this call, keep in mind, and you've heard it a million times, content is king. If you guys want to, always feel free to grab my email address from anybody. I love to post stuff on LinkedIn that is cool. Salesforce has a lobby application that was done by CFX. It is incredible content. If you haven't seen some of the new content in New York, where it's almost like it's 3D and it comes out of the LED wall, but it's not 3D, those are killer content. You can do things with LED you can't do with projectors, you can't do with flat panels. And the content guys who drop a mushroom and come up with the good stuff, they're the winners. You can go beyond PowerPoint, Excel, and of course, Zoom with LED. It's very cool.
Very interesting. I don't think we've ever used the word mushroom on a webinar. So that's just, this is the first for everything, I guess. And also, folks, I'd like to put a little asterisk next to the cool content. Don't be fooled by some of the AR applications that have been faked and made for the purpose of sharing. There was a video that was put out purportedly out on the internet showing a storefront with some cool AR applications where things were swooshing around inside. That wasn't actually LED on the windows or any type of transparent video. That was an AR kind of phony setup. What it did do was it did bring a lot of attention to the store and the brand store by thinking, wow, they actually are doing this sort of stuff. But it was proven to be not true. So don't be completely enamored by cool content. Yes, that kind of around the corner content where the Jeep pulls back and the wheel falls off the edge of the screen. That's wonderful. And obviously it's some cool stuff. But, when you buy these LEDs, you're obviously looking for that great type of, the tighter the pitch, the better the quality of the video, the better you can get away with things kind of blurring the lines between what is real and what is fake and giving you that 3D content more so. And I think that's where the application for 3D really is. Going into the future is going to be tricking your mind as opposed to having to put up a phone and actually see something happen. Because I think that breaks the whole idea of the 3D. You're immersive. So yes, the content and how content creators are doing that these days is wonderful. I have one more question that came in from Phil, getting in at the last moment. Philip is asking, are you guys ever going to make your own trim kits? He has an issue with paying for expensive ones, and I'm not going to name the brand, off the side. So are you guys in the process, or will you guys, LG, make your own trim kits?
It's not on the near timeline.
Okay.
But do me a favor, have Philip email me or email you and forward it to me. There is a company out of Denver who is not from the AV industry. And I'm going to tell you right now, they came in at less than half of the usual characters that we use in our industry. So I've been using them for my trim. That came out so bizarre to even say that like that.
Yeah. Well, in going back to what you were stating regarding these UC applications, UC is obviously a topic that's very hot. As people start to return, and I just want to add this in here, as people start to return to their offices, and depending on where you are in the country, obviously social distancing is still a conversation piece. Conference rooms that we knew as small huddle spaces may not exist moving forward. I'm not making that bold of a prediction like Mitch had said before, but you are going to see spaces that need to be bigger. And when you start talking about bigger spaces, you have to increase the monitor size. If you're going to start moving that monitor out, where now dvLED starts coming into conversation is, are you going to do this with a projector, or are you going to do it with the direct view LED? Think about that, especially in the open spaces with all the light and sunlight and glare and everything coming into the space, how much brighter a dvLED can possibly be over, just putting up a standard projector and trying to do that sort of stuff. So I've had challenges of my own as a former tech manager on site dealing with open space and open glass walls. They're not walls if they're glass. Maybe they aren't, they're glass. But anyway, the rooms are going to get bigger. You need to put in more space for people. So this is one thing you may want to consider. I just want to add that as a note before you poo-pooed on the whole UC application for DV. There is an opportunity here as well, sir. Thank you so much. Mitch, I am not going to pay a lot for this trim is a comment that came in from Todd. That's it. Mitch is your guy. When he's done here, he will be doing ShamWow commercials. He is that energetic.
I'm going to give you, Chris, you want to know something ironic? When the guy passed away that used to do those ShamWow commercials in 2001, I got called to interview for it in Manhattan.
That does not surprise me. You were one of the more entertaining folks to have on here. You were welcome back anytime. For the amount of bold predictions you have, the fact that you're on no caffeine at this moment, and the fact that you were able to do an entire presentation on Zoom on a 486 computer speaks a lot to either your technical knowledge or how lucky we are to have you as our channel manager. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the September Town Hall. My name is Chris Neto. I'm the Market Development Manager. Please, follow us along on our social channels because we got a lot of stuff that's coming out. It's as the year comes to an end. But before we go, we know what you're here for. You're here for the Amazon gift card, because if we have not put you to sleep by now, you're definitely looking for something to keep you going. And the winner is, and Mark, give it a big old spinneroonie from the wheel of the wheel of fortune. What do you call it these days? Mark is sending me. Wait, here it comes, and the winner is Wendy Reyes. You have won the $50 Amazon gift card.
Congratulations, Wendy. You
That's
can
it.
afford lunch.
Please join us next month as we now bring in Aver, one of the partners that is part of the strategic alliances. Aver and everything that they are doing that's new and cool in that space. Obviously, we're going to be talking about cameras. We're going to be talking about UC. We're going to diverge a little bit from the display area where Mitch is obviously a subject matter expert in. Thank you, sir, so much for joining us. Where can we find out more information about LG?
The LG website, rocket science, lge.com. It's huge, it's complicated, but we've got everything you can possibly imagine, from CAD files to brochures, marketing. Everything you can imagine is on that site somewhere. If you have difficulty with it, which you may, please call me. Irritatingly enough, I actually pick up the phone.
There you go. If you're looking for an entertaining person to have at your kid's party, Mark, I'm sure Mitch will be the person to come in and talk to you about displays, because he's made it interesting, and all it is just a display. So go figure. It's caught my interest. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it. Again, my name is Chris Neto. I'm the market development manager for Starin. You can find me here once a month doing these town halls. Next month, obviously, Aver is up next, and then we will have our year-end surprise town hall, which I'll just give you that little bit of teasing, I guess, informational nugget to have in your back pocket until then. Until then, everybody, please stay safe, wash your hands, do everything that you need to do, and we will see you very shortly. This has been the Starin September Town Hall.
Chris, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I look forward to hearing from anybody.